Right then, welcome back to the 2 o'clock session. This is the boom of cryptocurrency gambling. And we have 5 excellent speakers lined up for this one, all coming from different angles to this subject. I think the best thing to do is for them to give a very brief introduction who they are and sort of angle of attack, I guess, where they're coming in relation to cryptocurrency gambling. Should we start from the far side with David?
Hi. Hello. Hi there, good afternoon, everybody. This is just a very quick introduction because I'm probably the great cynic on the panel this afternoon. And so my background is very much electronic payments. I've been working on digital currencies for as kind of long as I can remember. But I come from a slightly different area for most people. I come very much from the banking side. I was one of my security cryptography is my core technology. And I was involved with electronic payments, the CHAP systems right the way back in the 80s. I was one of the co-designers of that. Those of you not quite as old as me might remember Mondex, which was digital cash in the UK. I was the architect of that. And I also architected Mintchip in Canada for the Royal Canadian Mint, which is another digital currency. And currently I'm promoting a new one, which I architected called Tivado in the UK. So I'm kind of deep into these areas. But there are kind of issues. And I sort of put my hand into my pocket.
David, yeah, we'll come to those issues and risks a little bit later on.
You want to avoid the issues?
No. I want to talk about the issues later, but I just want everyone else to introduce themselves, and then that's great.
The introduction, the issues to come.
Thanks, David. Mark?
Hi, so I spent 17 years in iGaming and then became an affiliate. Started out sending traffic to different Bitcoin companies. And then we moved into different Bitcoin markets and we send traffic to every kind of Bitcoin product today. And now we've expanded to a news portal and we do blockchain collaborations with different companies.
Hello everyone. I'm Max and I'm from BitStars. It's probably one of the, right now, biggest crypto casinos on the market. We're doing real money payments and also Bitcoins. And I'm responsible for marketing, traffic. I'm working more than many millions of impressions going through my links every month. And I'm responsible for analysis, understanding what is going on. And I'm here to share some great ideas with you guys. Thanks.
All right.
Hi, everyone. My name is Arun Barber. I'm from CoinPoint. We actually started back in 2013 as an affiliate for the Bitcoin space. Today we send traffic to basically all products in the Bitcoin space, starting with casino, poker, lottery, dice, esports, sports betting, and so on.
Hi, my name is Ivan Montic. I am a founder of SoftSwiss, a B2B provider for casinos. We were first in the world to introduce the platform for classic casinos, online casinos on Bitcoin. I am 10 years in IT business and for 5 years already here in iGaming business.
Thanks, guys. I'm just going to switch to that. Fantastic. Thank you. So you're not getting dazzled. I'd just like to kick off with the boom of cryptocurrency gambling. I mean, it's been around for a number of years now. I mean, what factors are converging now to make this a time for cryptocurrency gambling, to make it a boom and something for affiliates and operators to seriously consider? So we just start from, would I start from this side, shall we, or start from David? Why don't you go first, David, on the far side?
Okay, so I have to start off with an element of caution. And so I think everybody's kind of looking at how you might create this new future. And I kind of raise my first issue. So my first issue is this, which is kind of called cash, if you recognize it. I used to hand it around, but I've stopped doing that. And so this, if you think about it, is kind of cash. It's awfully heavily regulated. It's got things like money laundering attached to it. It's got financing of terrorism attached to it. And regulators don't like this. And somebody said to me, regulators today would probably not authorize cash. So if you went to the regulators today and said, I've got this new product called cash, they would probably not let you issue it. So when you go into electronic money of any shape or form, you have got the regulators watching every move you make. So that's the first issue. The second issue is if you've got electronic money of any shape or form, digital currency, the first thing that matters is who originates that money. So here's this cash. Where does this cash come from? Who originates it? Central bank, in this case, Bank of England. Do you trust the central bank, the Bank of England? Yeah, you probably do, because you're all using cash. So I think you do trust the originator. So if you look at a digital currency, whether you look at Bitcoin, Ripple, Ethereum, the list is about 750 at the last count. If you look at all those, the first question should be, who actually originates this value? Where does it come from? Because you absolutely have to trust that. So you have to trust the security of that and who is underwriting the security. So you immediately get into an issue. So the argument is if you're going to extend some form of digital currency, some sort of virtual currency into the gaming, gambling world, the very first question is, can you actually trust it? And I would argue if you take digital currencies in general, that's a very difficult point.
All right, thanks, David. Okay, Mark. So the boom in cryptocurrency gambling, why is the time now for this, do you think? Because we've been discussing it as the next big thing, one of the next big things for a number of years now. So why is it time now?
So I think we've been slow to adopt. I think its time should have already been. But there's two primary catalysts at the moment. The one is in terms of adoption. The more B2B, companies that provide it, the more brands that accept it, that will increase the level of use. And from a consumer perspective, the more that it's been in the news and getting attention, that drives the interest to use it.
Max?
I would start first with the problem. And we all feel this problem that markets get regulated and it's harder for players, like as we are in a gaming conference, it's harder for players to deposit money and to use them. And we all know that in December, respected Skrill and Teller blocked thousands of cards from players that are not able to withdraw their money and they don't know what to do with this. And opportunity, the next step we see in Bitcoin. And until now, it was a problem because most of the people were thinking that Bitcoin is only for geeks and it's like super hard to get them, super hard to exchange them. Nobody wanted to go somewhere and do some extra stuff. But nowadays, the thing has changed a lot. And now it's very simple to buy Bitcoins with few clicks. And as my colleague already showed, we all need some practical stuff. And for example, I'm using Bitcoins and I easily can transfer them to this card, go to ATM and use it. And this brings Bitcoin theme very close to your end customers and to consumer. And we feel that right now it's still the right time to catch this wagon and start using this as an option. Thanks.
Today, 2017, the market is still premature. I actually think a bit like Mark. If you go out to this conference and you ask the operators and the affiliates about Bitcoin, most of them don't know what it is or how to use it and afraid to use it because it's techy or whatever. But in specific markets, maybe not the UK, but more into Eastern Europe, Russia, China, the US, and so on, this is the solution. Because of the problems with payments, because of the regulations, and because Bitcoin is more easy to get it now through any kind of ATM card, debit card, or even credit cards. So Bitcoin gambling is not a niche anymore. Bitcoin gaming is becoming the mainstream. Ivan told me to say it. And all of us, most of you here in the audience, as an affiliate, you need to know that the market is opening these days to other products than casino. Casino maybe is the main one, but there are many, many others which are becoming very relevant and big potential for all of you, of course, to join.
I just want to add, don't want to repeat my colleagues. 3 years ago, we were almost here at the first ICE Bitcoin seminar, and we were thinking about implementing Bitcoin into gaming sphere, and it was the first race of Bitcoin, but it was, in my opinion, hype a little bit. It was some speculation in the market and some scammers, not in gaming industry only, but in general. And it was, for my understanding, also the right time already there 3 years ago. But we experienced at that time then falls of big exchanges, and the trust in Bitcoin was a little bit lost. 3 years ago, we are here again. We are talking about the same topic, but on the different level. So we experience right now the second race of Bitcoin. This race is already original. It's not driven by some speculators, but some scammers. It's driven by real businesses, and this is the right time to consider Bitcoin gaming, and in any case of this pie, to step in right now. So,
Okay, I'd like to focus a bit more on affiliates more specifically. What do affiliates need to know about this? I mean, why should they look at? There's plenty of guys out there operating in real money. I mean, why should they be looking at cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin in particular? So we start with David.
Okay, so again, I would just carry my argument on. So the first issue with cryptocurrencies, particularly Bitcoin, is volatility. When you're dealing with any normal payment systems, you normally expect them to be unbelievably stable. You don't want the value to change by 100% in a day. And with virtual currencies, that's a real risk. It's happened with Bitcoins many times, and it will carry on happening. And so I would kind of argue, if you're using this in any business environment, particularly if there's any tangible assets involved, you cannot withstand that volatility. So that's my first issue.
So I'll answer the question, but David, I'm sorry, I can't resist. Volatility like 2008 in America, that's what you're worried about with Bitcoin? Like an international crash of all money systems in every country? In terms of affiliates, I think the first thing is to get involved. If you aren't involved, you should at least look at it. I'm not looking for more competitors, but if you have existing websites focused on any gambling products, to add a Bitcoin section is incremental. At minimum, it's going to increase your search presence, which results in more traffic, even if it's to whichever brands. And some of the Bitcoin brands are better than some of the real money brands. If you are new to the space, or you're struggling to find your home as an affiliate, then perhaps you can compete in a market that, as Oren said, is premature, that doesn't have the level of saturation the traditional iGaming affiliate market does. You know, why compete against 10,000 other people when you can go somewhere else and earn more? And if anyone wants to know about where some of those opportunities are or to speak more, you're welcome to come to me afterwards.
Thanks, Mark. I also wanted to add this thing about volatility. As affiliates, you want to have, you want to get them real money and to have them safe. And with Bitcoins, it's right now possible to seamlessly convert them to euros. Like right when you have gotten Bitcoins, you can convert them to euros and not to lose anything on the this volatility. You have an option to do it right away and have a safe position, or you can gamble and wait until it will go up or it will go down. It's up to you. The main thing that the first step that you need to be educated. You need to understand how Bitcoin works. It's not, you don't need to be super technical in details, but you need to get the idea. And the main idea that there is no middleman between you and transaction processor. Bitcoins are transacted from person to person. This is most important thing. And for you as an affiliate, you need to try to find casinos like, for example, we do, where you can do both. You can continue doing real money marketing and attract real money affiliates and players, and also you can try Bitcoins and see how it works for you. At least it will be an option, and you will get a clear picture how your current traffic looks like, because probably some of your players already have Bitcoins.
I think that the first step for any new affiliate into the Bitcoin space if all of you or some of you are already an affiliate, is just jump into the water. Most of the queries that we get from our affiliates, it's about how do I get the money out, how do I use the Bitcoin and so on. If you have PayPal account, it's even easier than using PayPal. So Bitcoin, easy. Blockchain, forget about it. It's not really relevant at the moment. It's just a payment method. Jump into the water, find the operators that accept Bitcoin. Make sure that you know how to cash out your revenue through any kind of different system, starting with ATM cards and so on. And that's it. Start sending some players and make your revenue.
Yeah, the additional answer, the business logic is also behind. There is a pie of more than $15 billion right now in the Bitcoin sphere. The pie of the Bitcoin gaming world is growing, and we see this within our network of casinos. So there are a lot of emerging markets where it's just impossible to bring players that can deposit and play for real money using any normal, payment methods like Neteller, Skrill, credit cards. But there is a demand to play. There is a free market, free search market. So if affiliate is using Google SEO stuff, so there are a lot of local countries, even in Europe, that is just undeveloped at all. I mean, it's really blue ocean right now. And if you already has the affiliate knowledge and you are working in this sphere, it's easy to clone or to add the section of your websites or your resources, and to just start to attract this niche as well. And another point is the conversion sometimes of Bitcoin players is much higher than the conversion of the players for real money. And the player value and the player life cycle is longer and better as a real money gambler.
That's actually going to be my next question. I mean, how does the real money player differ from the Bitcoin player in terms of his habits? And you already touched upon lifetime revenue, on player value as well. I mean, what are the key differences between real money and Bitcoin? You know, traditional currency players and cryptocurrency.
For example, the average bet in real money in our network is about 1.5 to €2. The average bet is on Bitcoin is about €5 in equivalent. The player value is about 40 to sometimes 50% higher than the real money value player. Yeah, and the life cycle could be like half a year or more, which is also longer. If you take an average life cycle of the real money is like about 2 to 3 months.
Why do you think that is?
I think the service level of the current Bitcoin casinos overall is higher, because they are new, they have to attract these players, and they have not only just be here because of Bitcoin, but also to show that they can deliver better service. And the players like to use Bitcoin and to play for that, I believe. I mean, I'm not so involved from the player side, but I see the market from the B2B side. So yeah, and I have the numbers from not only one casino or one site, affiliate site, but I have the numbers of the network of like more than 20 casinos on the market.
Okay. Does anyone else in the panel have anything to add on that? Maybe. Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to pay attention also to add something to Ivan's words, that when we are talking about real money and player has like £100, it will be very hard for him to it's the total understanding to put them somewhere casino and play of them. It will be pretty hard for him to do this. With Bitcoins, if he has 0.2 Bitcoins, there is no such a feeling of money. And so Bitcoin players are used to spend much more and much easier. That's the main point. Thanks.
Anybody else on that one? Okay, Mark?
The other thing to consider is that many real money casinos, their primary tactic for making more money is pending withdrawals, verification process, delaying players' ability to take money out. So with Bitcoin, that withdrawal can be relatively instant. Players have a much higher sense of trust in a brand if they're willing to give them the money as fast as they took it. And I think that ultimately encourages a higher player loyalty as well.
David?
Can I just literally one comment? Again, I'm a critic, you understand. But if you take a Bitcoin transaction, just bear in mind the equivalent transaction fee is around about $7. So if you're doing a €2 or €5 type transaction, you've got a $7.5 overhead on that. I'm happy to explain why that is if you want to.
I'm happy to have this discussion, but that's just not true.
I'd like to move on to sort of probably fair is seen as something that could gain a lot of traction this year. Would you like to sort of say a few words about that and explain exactly how that works and why it could have such importance for the gambling sector going forward? The probably fair concept.
Say again, I didn't understand the beginning.
The probably fair.
Okay,
Yeah,
so provably fair is a technology that exists only in Bitcoin, and Arvin and Software, they're actually a leading provider of the technology. It enables a player to communicate with a random number generator and prove that the result was correct and not interfered with by any operator. Today, a lot of the big game providers, whether it's Playtech or microgaming, players trust them. But when a player comes to a casino and they're interacting with a game, they have no way to really know that the operator didn't somehow cheat them. Or if they have a bad result, they feel that 3 times in a row the dealer shouldn't have got blackjack. So in Bitcoin, there is a seed that's created, and technically how it's done is a different discussion, but the idea is that the whole random number generator process is visible to a player. And they can query it at the end of their bet, and they get a result back from the blockchain, essentially through the random number generator, that says this was true, it was within range of what should have happened, and no human being interfered at all with the result. That technology doesn't exist anywhere else. So you have a player who can check 100% that they weren't cheated.
Talking about the microgaming or such a big brands, even though players trust them until they can win something, when they will lose some serious amount of money or for some, relative, but anyway, they start to thinking about they cheating me, and we experience it on all markets and all brands. So when you play real money, you play net-end slots or microgaming slots, you win, you are happy, you trust. If you lose, you start to blame casino, they cheating. Then the casino can explain that it's not possible to cheat because the gameplay is on the provider server. Then they start trying to invent some theory that the provider is also cheating, etc., etc. So, but this technology is not really common right now in the market. But anyway, it will come more. But this technology is just excluded. You can always check your bet, and you can be always sure that your bet was a fair outcome of the bet.
Probably Fair was invented together with the Bitcoin casinos. It was a very good selling point at the beginning. I don't think personally that now it's relevant anymore because the content that the player can get in most of the Bitcoin casinos is as good as any other casino. All the big providers, that slot provider, live dealers provider, that were here in ICE beginning of the week are also now in the Bitcoin space. And players don't trust the casino. It's happened everywhere and will continue to happen. But probably fair these days is not the point. The point is the market, the Bitcoin market, the worldwide market, for you as an affiliate, for the operators to be in.
Yeah, my colleagues probably taught everything about Probably Fair, and I also agree with you, Oren, that right now Probably Fair is not so important. Basically, if we're talking about casinos, they have the same providers that ordinary casino have. And we give just an option. If the player wants to get this understanding that its casino is not rigged, he can use and check the probably fair. If he's enough, or if this provider is reliable enough, he can go and continue playing. We just give this as an option. Yeah.
I would like to touch on the. I mean, are there some risks for affiliates in terms of moving to a cryptocurrency model? And if so, I mean, how can they best protect themselves, and how can they just protect themselves and market safely and protect their businesses? I guess.
You want to speak first?
Do you want to start with that, David?
Okay. Well, I'm accepting one angle here, so I'm the one that's the cynic. So to me, what I would say to you is, why would you use an unstable payment system? So I would argue Bitcoin is unstable. It's unstable because it's actually driven by a very small community of people who don't always agree. And right now, if you take the inners, the depths of Bitcoin, some of the people who are fundamental in creating that are actually arguing about the future of it. So they're arguing things a bit like what should the block size be? How many transactions per second should you allow? So all these arguments are going on. A lot of the big players in Bitcoin have in fact pulled out. They've come out making a lot of noise. So from where I am, and I'm not coming as an affiliate, I'm coming as a payment specialist. As a payment specialist, I would say to you, Bitcoin is not stable, and you might want to think twice. I mean, very, very few people would basically buy a house with Bitcoin. So that's the kind of a starting proposition. It is not stable.
So I think that's pretty fair. I think the risks involved are different to the risks in traditional money gambling, but I think that they can be managed or mitigated depending on your strategy. For example, you don't have to keep it in Bitcoin. If you earn everything in Bitcoin, at the point that the casino pays you, you take it in euro, and there's a lot of great companies that do this. And can I plug some people? We have Qubits over there, Max. If anyone's interested, they do amazing real-time transfers. And you can let the players deal with the volatility through the month. And then when the time comes for you to get your money, you get the money. Now, maybe at a different exchange rate. So it may have been earned at one and you realize it at a slightly lower or historically slightly higher rate. There are other risks as well. If you aren't going to work with a reputable brand, then you're subject to the risk of working with a non-reputable brand in any industry. And I think when we started, we worked with brands that, I mean, to say some of them were dodgy would be an understatement. But today, the brands are really serious, and there's a lot of ways you can check if brands are good. And if I can plug someone else, BitStars, who we also have more in the audience, great brand in the space, and if you want to work with someone, I would suggest them to start with. And I think that if you understand the nature of your business, then you can mitigate the risks. And I want to make 2 points. If we're sitting in our gaming conference worried about the risks of Bitcoin, I think it's a little bit ludicrous. Like, if you're here, you want to make some money, I'm telling you there's an opportunity, look into it, figure it out. The risks are not anything more than our gaming. The second thing is that as much as we're speaking about casino, is I urge everyone to consider the other verticals that are possible here. The vast majority of Bitcoin services and companies that will exist in 3 years' time have not been thought of or created yet. If you're looking for an opportunity in a disruptive space that allows an entry point, then there's never been a better opportunity.
Awesome, Mark. Thank you. Another point that I would like to pay attention and to repeat what other my colleagues said, you don't need to put all the eggs into one basket. We give, as talking about, for example, casinos that accept both real money and Bitcoins. With in terms of real money, that's the same Neteller, Skrill, PaySafe, and all other options. And a Bitcoin comes in addition. And what we've noticed, some affiliates that at first were skeptical about Bitcoins, suddenly after 1 or 2 months, they saw on their account a commission of half a Bitcoin. And well, they were like pretty happy about it because half a Bitcoin is now 500 euros. and they didn't do anything specifically on this. They just maybe added a new section as a Bitcoin casino as an option, and that worked very well for them. And this is the thing that also I'm thinking, that you don't need to rush and jump fully into this, but you can try it and add it as an option and see. The most important, for you as an affiliate, to give it a try is to understand that the casino is licensed. You need to check this. Also, I would recommend to check the reviews. And the most important also is the support, because player support, for example, in our industry, we have a live chat support 24/7, which is standard for ordinary casinos, but for Bitcoin casinos, it's still not very popular. And also, the transaction time that Mark already mentioned. For example, in our industry, in our product, we managed to make a 10-minute average cash-out time, which is tremendous, and we will try to decrease it and to make it instant. And this is something that players really like, and this is a reason why some of them are switching from real money to Bitcoin.
I would like to say something about this space, this Bitcoin space, that once some of you will go back home and try to figure out how it works and how to start, you will realize very soon that the affiliate manager that you will talk to, the affiliate network that you would like to work with, many other brands which are not here but out there, that you will ask them about Bitcoin, most of them still have no idea. Again, go outside, talk about Bitcoin, most of them still have no idea. Our clients see it almost every day, talking to affiliate manager which cannot explain himself how Bitcoin works for the affiliate, and then it's kind of weird from the affiliate point of view. Not to talk about the player, that you need to take a casino player or sports betting player and convert him to start using Bitcoin instead of using other deposit methods. The funnel is a bit longer, and the market is now changing. I think one of the main changes that we saw 2016 is the implementation of more content and more valuable content into the Bitcoin space that wasn't there before. So the product is ready. The products are waiting for the players. You just need to understand that as it's difficult for you to understand, and maybe it's kind of an obstacle, you're not only one. Affiliate managers, again, brand operators, all in the same stage. We just need to push it forward from all angles, like we're trying to do now. And next year, I guess we'll have double in the audience.
I just in general want to say that there is, in my opinion, no risks at all for the affiliates working with Bitcoin. So no risk at all. So same risk, even less than you work with Neteller. Because I have a case, for example, just recently, the big affiliate that has more than €500,000 on his Skrill account. His account was just locked. So without any reasons, despite the status was VIP, like platinum status, something like that. So comparing this case, then you have less risks with Bitcoin as with real money gaming. But I want to mention something about other side. Just you as affiliate, you need to understand how it works from the casino side. And there are some risks for casinos. For example, like double spend risk. What is double spend is when the transaction is sent, there is a thing called confirmation. So we need to wait for blockchain confirmation until the transaction will be written in the blockchain, in the accounting book, right? So until that, the player or whoever was sending the transaction, he can send the same transaction, the same money to some other wallet. Means if the situation is like you need to wait like half an hour for the confirmation, the player has half an hour to place the bet on roulette, let's say like this, and if he will win, he will wait until confirmation and then withdraw the money. If he will lose, then he can be able to double spend this transaction to the another wallet. But there are already some instruments, some tools, also with, for example, in our provider, in our partner Qubits, that allow you to cover these risks 100%. So you are not liable for any double spend transactions at all. But it's not right now covered in all the casinos and all the industries. I know a lot of casinos, they are using own wallets that don't have any protection for that. But I believe it will be improved by the time very soon. So, but this risk should be considered from the also casino point of view, because you can bring traffic, you can see conversion, you can see the deposits, but casino will say like, hey, this is this amount of money, it's not real money, so we didn't earn this money. You maybe will not understand how it's possible. I mean, the money was in. So you should be aware of it. And maybe when you start to work with some casinos, you should ask, is your system secured? Is your anti or double spend protection working or not? So this is a big issue. Another topic is many casinos or maybe many operators are thinking if we are accepting Bitcoin, we don't have to do KYC. In our opinion, it's the wrong way, because first of all, we need to be sure that the player is over 18 years old at least, because a lot of teenagers can use Bitcoin as well and play casino, which is not really even not legal, but it's just in normal way, normal life, it's not correct to do. So you have to do KYC, you have to check the player, you have to know your player as well. Again, somebody will say that in the crypto world, everybody wants to be anonymous. It's not true. A lot of players, they're just using Bitcoin because they like to use it. It's easy, it's fast for them, and they don't have any problem to be KYC'd. So work with casinos that do KYC people and do KYC players and know their players. So it's quite two big points that are important, in my opinion.
Okay, we have an audience question on the screen behind, actually, from Attila. What do you think about the power of the standard financial sector against Bitcoin regarding the blocking and regulation? Do you want to start with that, David?
Well, I think I started with that. And, regulation is a big industry. And I remember I pointed out to you, if you take physical cash, if you were to reinvent that today, my view is that regulators would never allow it. So regulators, by and large, do not like uncontrolled anonymous payments, because money laundering, financing of terrorism is a very, very huge issue. And I would argue to right now, across the world, regulators do not like virtual currencies. And by and large, they're coming down against them. It's going round in circles a bit, but my view is that it's not a stable place to be. And I'm clarifying virtual currencies because there are two forms of currencies, the collateralized currencies and virtual currencies. I think virtual currencies, from a regulatory point of view, in most countries in the world are going to have problems.
So this is actually a difficult question to answer quickly. I think that I don't agree fully about the regulation. I think we're seeing very different perspectives. America, the regulation was favorable. Germany, it was favorable. Australia, UK has linked, the government has actually linked every payment that the government does to Bitcoin. So you can pay everything you want. But I'll address more the financial sector issue. I think that's the primary part of the question. So 2015 and then 2016 were record years for venture capital investment into blockchain companies. And the largest, by far, amount of that investment came from banks. The biggest investors in the technology today are banks, insurtech, and financial organizations. They've realized, and the Bank of England you're talking about, 2 weeks ago, the governor of the Bank of England came out and said that for a country not to embrace blockchain as the future of technology would be a mistake.
I'm only going to throw a very quick one, and we could talk hours about this, but I also talk to the regulators. And they're actually looking at distributed ledger technology. That's actually where they're coming from. And banks will do research on anything. So if you look at the banks, they'll research projects, and blockchain is one, DLT is one. But I will put it to you, Bitcoin virtual currencies are a regulator's problem?
I think it's just important to distinguish for the audience, because the difference between Bitcoin as a specific currency, which is your point, and blockchain or any sort of cryptocurrency. And the argument differs depending on if you're talking about Bitcoin at all or cryptocurrency. And you're right, it's a long argument, but let's say that at least in this panel we may not agree.
Actually, the question. Sorry, the question is good, but this is not the right audience and the right panel to talk about. We're talking about affiliates. Affiliates want to make money. You guys know how to drive traffic. You know how to bring the players. There is a new market called Bitcoin casinos. That's it. Go for it.
Mm-hmm. I just wanted to add that it doesn't matter like how many regulations there will be. If someone will be an obstacle from the player, from mass user to use his money, then the more Bitcoins or any other solution will come into play. Because what we love about Bitcoins is the money really belongs to you. There is no middleman as a bank, Skrill, a teller, anyone else behind you and the end user, like in the end company where you're sending money. And this is the most important thing, I think.
In my opinion, the question is out of date. So you could ask this question like 3 or 2 years ago, but now the standard financial sector is already in, and they are already using not only blockchain but Bitcoin. Everybody is talking about blockchain. They're researching blockchain. We're researching blockchain. Those researching blockchain. But they don't tell you the truth, because the biggest and the most powerful blockchain right now is Bitcoin blockchain. So basically they are working on it already, and they will not avoid it, and they are already in. And if the question behind was the regulation, I believe the standard power of the standard financial sector will be a pressure of the regulation. So it will be otherwise rather helping the industry as to stopping it.
Okay. Does anybody else anything else to add on this one? Right. I'm just going to throw it home to the audience as well. If you've got any sort of anyone put their hand up and ask a question in a traditional way? Okay, we've got one there. Do you just introduce yourself first and where you're from?
Yes, I'm Eilon, also with CoinPoint, based in Manila, by the way. So I want to ask you a question that is very relevant for affiliates, and is which countries are the more relevant countries for casino traffic or gambling traffic with Bitcoin?
The countries you can get traffic from.
Yes, but obviously, countries that have no problem with regular payment methods,
I don't know,
are less popular. So
not necessarily. We have two primary demographics in Bitcoin. We have people who have Bitcoins that want to gamble, and people who want to gamble and use Bitcoin as a solution to payment problems. Bitcoin is everywhere. If you focus as an affiliate, I'm speaking as an affiliate, not about Bitcoin. If you focus on something that's not your strength because someone else told you it's a better idea, you're going to fail. There's no chance. If you have a way to bring traffic from a particular geo or a particular channel, focus on that. You'll find a way to make it work. Don't do what someone else does. It's not going to work.
Yeah, as Mark said, it's very diversified across the world. And the most important thing that you need to understand, that market is open. You can easily get the top positions, the keywords that you want that already working with you. If it started working on a specific geolocation, just go for it and earn your money. That's basically the main point.
Nothing to add, actually.
Okay. We've actually come to the end of the 45-minute slot. I'm sure these guys will be happy to answer any extra questions you might have. You want to catch them after the session, but I'd like to thank them very much for a brilliant panel.
If I may, just before we end, one more plug. I see that there's also Forking in the audience. So I know that they're an agency that's helped more affiliates transition to Bitcoin than anyone else. They're the leading online media agency for Bitcoin today. So if anyone wants to find out anything, feel free to speak to them, to me, to anyone else on the panel.
All right, thanks a lot, guys.